Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It's Chili here for a 5-minute review on Babymetal's newest album, The Other One. Don't forget we also do live streams every Friday, so make sure to check it out. Now, I haven't been keeping up with the comings and goings of Babymetal. However, I did know of Yui Metal having to leave the band due to an unknown illness before the recording of Metal Galaxy, and I didn't really rate that album in all honesty. Was the magic gone without one of their core members, or was it just me? Would this album be the one that returned the band to the spotlight, or would it fall wayside? Well, let's take a look at it. My first playthrough of this album left me pondering what has become of our favourite Fox gods. I wasn't exactly fond of what I was hearing, but subsequent playthroughs saw me enjoying it more and more. Mirror Mirror is an interesting track as it sounds like my phone's alarm at the beginning before being bombarded by that powerful drum pattern and technical guitar riff. I have to say I really do enjoy this song a lot, and I might use it as my new alarm in the mornings to wake myself up. Maya is a great follow-up too, with some great hooks and easy to remember lyrics. But after these two bangers, we get a trip of really weak tracks. Time Wave feels like some track from a Dance Dance Revolution soundtrack. Believing leads me wishful to believe it could be more interesting. And Metalism is just balls to the wall weird, sounding like some dubstep proficient guitar playing going on that's really not fitting the rest of this album's sound. In the past, Babymetal have had some really epic ending tracks with Akeda and The One. And this album is no different, with the legend building its crescendo while incorporating orchestral vocals to assist the band. But when it gives way to that quiet part, it feels very barren and lackluster. I don't like this part of the song, but love the inclusion of the saxophone solo at the very end. Saxophone. Saxophone. I can still recall when Babymetal first exploded on the scene in 2014 with their debut album, and they were set to perform on the Download Festival, only to be removed very last minute. And this also allowed the band to take stage with Dragon Force to perform Gimme Chocolate. It might have been a planned move, but either way Babymetal were here to stay. Now, I could say I enjoyed this album from the band, but this statement would be only half true. In fact, I enjoyed the music that was suggested after this album's playthrough far more. Hearing a choir of different vocal styles and what felt like a more focused musical direction with these bands felt reinvigorating. However, it was interesting to note that all of the bands that followed, like Lady Beard or Mary's Blood, Kari Band, and etc., seem like generic clones to Babymetal, but sound like an evolution of this style. Say what you want about Babymetal being an industry plant, but their influence on the genre is undeniable, from visuals to dress styles to music. They really did popularise the kawaii metal thing. Side note, but when I checked up on Kari Band, it turned out they were the original studio musicians to Babymetal for their early days for their first album, which explains why I enjoyed them a lot. You can draw parallels between the band Rammstein to Babymetal in that both are metal acts from non-English speaking backgrounds that sing mostly in their native language, and both have had massive breakthroughs on the international stage. Also, both bands have a flair for their own visual appearance and stage performances, but the similarities really end there. Rammstein seldom incorporate English into their songs. They have done so in the past, and even in other languages, but it's fairly uncommon. Meanwhile, Babymetal use a lot of English words in their music to draw in non-Japanese speaking crowds. While elements of German industrial metal and Japanese idol music is vastly different in their approach, I think Babymetal could learn from their counterparts and use English less in their music. If you ask me about my favourite Rammstein songs, I could recite several German phrases like Du hast, Rosenrot, Ausländer, Links 2, 3, 4, and so on. If you ask me the same about Babymetal, then I would say Gimme Chocolate or some other English lines. While theirs is a vast difference in the language tree between these two languages, mostly with German having extremely common ties to the English language, while Japanese is on another branch altogether, you will find several fans screaming the lyrics of a language that they don't understand at the live gigs of Rammstein. Babymetal, you should trust your fanbase more and sing your songs in your native tongue. I think only one or two songs from this album were fully Japanese, and in the end, all these minor English catchphrases just come across as Contrived songwriting and very formulaic rather than organic. And given the countless calls of industrial plants, it becomes painfully obvious why this dark cloud looms overhead. Overall, I will rate this album at 5 million chilies, with my favourite songs being Mirror Mirror, Maya, and Divine Attack. I couldn't say this album has brought them back into the spotlight, but I'm sure the fans will enjoy this outing. It doesn't stray off the beaten path, but when it does, it comes back shortly after its detour. I like this album more than their previous effort, but it's still a way off from recapturing the magic found on their first 2 releases. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Live Listen Erased, and if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like. Comment below and tell me your favourite song, and if you can, make sure to subscribe to us. As always, stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased, and if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.